On the night before Christmas 1945, George and Jennie Sodder and 9 of their 10 children went to sleep. One son was away in the Army. Around 12:30 a.m., Jennie was awoken by a phone call, which she could hear a man's voice as well as glasses clinking in the background. She then went back to bed only to be startled by a loud bang and a rolling noise on the roof. She soon dozed off again and finally awoke an hour later to see the house engulfed in smoke. George, Jennie, and 4 of the Sodder children, toddler Sylvia, teenagers Marion and George Jr., as well as 23-year-old John, escaped. Marion ran to a neighbor's house to call the Fayetteville Fire Department, but did not get a response, prompting another neighbor to go into town looking for Fire Chief F.J. Morris. In the hours spent waiting for help, George and Jennie tried every imaginable way to rescue their children, but their efforts were thwarted. George's ladder was strangely missing. It was always propped up against the house, and neither of his trucks would start when he came up with a plan to drive one of the trucks to the house, to climb onto it to reach the upstairs window. Help did not arrive until 8 a.m., even though the fire department was just 2 miles away from the Sodders' home. The police inspector said the cause of the fire was faulty wiring. George and Jennie wanted to know how that was possible given that there had been no previous issues with the electricity. They also wanted to know why there were no remains among the ashes. Chief Morris said that the blaze had cremated the bodies, but a crematorium worker told Jennie that bones remain even after the bodies are burned at 2,000 degrees for 2 hours. The Sodder home only took 45 minutes to burn to the ground. A 1949 follow-up search uncovered a tiny portion of human vertebrae, which was determined by the Smithsonian Institution to have sustained no fire damage and most likely was mixed in with the dirt that George used to fill in the basement while constructing a memorial for his children. There were other oddities about the case as well. In the months preceding the blaze, an ominous drifter hinted at doom, and a few weeks later, an insurance salesman angrily told George his house would go up in smoke and his children would be destroyed as payment for his criticism of Mussolini among the area's largely Italian immigrant community. And the sightings began immediately after the fire. The Sodder children were reportedly spotted in a passing car watching the blaze by locals. The morning after the fire, a woman operating a truck stop 50 miles away said the children, who were with Italian-speaking adults, came in for breakfast. The Sodders contacted the FBI to no avail and spent the rest of their lives searching for their children, scouring the country and following up on leads. Nearly 20 years after the fire, in 1968, Jennie received a picture in the mail of a young man claiming to be Lewis, but attempts to find him were dead ends. George died later that year. Jennie built a fence around their home and wore black until she died in 1989. And the mystery of the Sodder children lives on.